Thank you for turning to page 121. Welcome back to page 121. Well, today we're going to take a look at Gamma World again. The video I did a few weeks ago had most of the editions. I discovered while making that video that two of my editions were away at college with my youngest son. So here are the two missing Gamma World editions, and they're my two personal favorites, and his too. They are Gamma World 2nd edition, the box set here, and Gamma World 4th edition. As you can see, both have seen a lot of love. I'm going to go ahead and show what was in each of these and why they're my favorite. In fact, 4th edition is still the Gamma World that we play today. So, back in a moment. Okay, the Gamma World 2, the 2nd edition box set, came out in 1983. It had a booklet inside, a fine map of Pittsburgh, yes, Pittsburgh, and another game booklet that was an adventure booklet. I'm going to show the booklets in a moment. This is the box cover art. There's a death machine up there, and these player characters are kind of done. The neat thing about this cover is you got to remember this edition came out a year before the Terminator, the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I always thought this cover could have been an homage to that, but of course it was out a year earlier. So maybe Terminator was an homage to this. I just want to show this box has seen some love. Yes, that is an actual tear in it. I hate when that happens, but hey, it's love. I'm going to flip it over and show the back. Looking at this in the shrink wrap, this is what you'd flip over to see. The interesting thing is the cover art as depicted here is not the cover art on the smaller book. Some of the colors are different. It's just kind of interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and put up the books now. Here's the basic rule book. There you go. Whoops, I guess I got to move the box. Here's the basic rule book right there. And in this edition of Gamma World, it just expanded on Gamma World 1st edition, which was good because Gamma World 1st edition, while a fun game, was not very sophisticated. This game got a little more sophisticated. The artwork got a little bit better, and we have a lot more information on how to create characters and how the mutations work. So it was a good game. We used this a lot. I did not use this for. I used this straight through the 80s. I did not use 3rd edition for this. I stuck with 2nd edition until 4th edition came out in 1992. So beyond the goodness in this book, which is a lot, it's a thicker book and it's got a lot more information inside. Here's the information on cryptic alliances, encounters and hazards that you can have, different monsters, and they gave more hit dice to the monsters. In this case, for instance, the sword beetle here, the Parns, 10 die 8, 15 die 6 for Orlens. The Minarls, the Slime Devils, you're looking there at 7 die 12. So the hit dice did vary, and actually I did carry that over a little bit into D&D. Not that I changed a ton of stuff in D&D, but I felt a little freer. I don't know. It changed the way I thought about hit points. It used to be back a million years ago, every time I set up a game, I actually rolled the hit points for every monster in the game. I'd have orcs that had 1 hit point with orcs that had 7 and 8. Once I did this, I just thought, well, I can step up a little bit. Especially with the release of Unearthed Arcana, you had to add a little bit more hit points. But I digress. This video is not about D&D, it's about Gamma World. So, here's the back of the book, which is nothing but an index of what's contained inside the book. And the adventure booklet. There is Pittsburgh. You get to go in the ruins of Pittsburgh, look around, pretty standard looking inside gatefold, which gives you the Frick building that you're going through. Essentially a dungeon crawl. But what's not to like about dungeon crawls? And here is your armor class table and your various monsters inside and the story of the adventure. I never really ran this adventure. Gamma World, I pretty much always ran my own stuff, although I would lift a little bit from here and there. Famine and Fargo was one that I took a little bit from. So that's it. And the other thing I want to show you is the wonderful map of Pittsburgh. So let me get this guy out of the way. And I like this map. It's got a lot of detail to it. I use this map a bunch. This is the edition where I kind of moved Gamma World away from Chicago, which is the area we were all from. And I actually put it in Pittsburgh for a little bit. Just a pretty map. Nicely drawn. I really enjoyed it. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at 4th edition Gamma World. Okay, here we are with 4th edition Gamma World. This book came just as a book itself. Pretty thick one. 192 pages. There's the back art. It was $20. This came out, as I said, in 1992. And this was the relaunch of the Gamma World game system. It came with an internal map, which is shown behind. I'll show a good look at that in a minute. And this changed the combat system. This combat system in 1992 kind of was the prototype for 3rd edition. You started with AC0 when you were just walking around in your ordinary clothing, and then armor class went up. There were no negative armor classes, and it went up just like 3rd edition went up, all the way to up to armor class 30, armor class 40. So it's very much like how 3rd edition was. I always thought that this was kind of the practice book for 3rd edition. This book also introduced the character classes to Gamma World. They introduced 4 character classes in this book: the Enforcer, the Esper, the Examiner, and the Scout. Don't know why they couldn't figure out a 3rd E class, but there are 3 E classes and an S class. And the idea behind these was you could actually play a career in Gamma World as opposed to just being a monster, mutated human person walking around in Gamma World, gaining levels and hit points. We didn't really embrace that. In fact, I don't remember anybody ever playing any of the character classes. We took a few of the ideas from the character classes and made them skills that were available, but I didn't want character classes in Gamma World, any more than I wanted alignments in Gamma World. Gamma World's a free-willing place where the might makes right, and that's how I always played it, and I just like it. And there are no actual classes as far as this goes, but other than the change in the combat system, for armor class 0 being the worst armor class to armor class 50, 60, like 3rd edition, that was the big change in this. And then they introduced some different weapons and lots of different mutations. Quite a bit of, that's some recycled art from 3rd edition. Quite a bit of better explanation of weapons and equipment you could find. It was a better edition, and in fact, that's the edition we still play to this day. I found these rules to be very sleek, very quick to teach to the players, and everybody just kind of enjoys them. The other thing that came with this particular book is this lovely map. And as you can see, there's Lake Mitch-Gloom, otherwise known as Lake Michigan. We are well south of where Chicago used to be, although not as far south as some of the others. You can see Gary is still on there. The Fermi Lab is still there. Fermi, that's the Fermi Lab. So this was the area we had been playing in. We moved around a little bit. I had us in the Southwest for a while. When 3rd edition came out, there was a lot of Southwest information that came with that. And but this edition, I brought us back to the Chicagoland area, and this is pretty much where we stayed. So right now, I primarily run in the Chicagoland area, unless they happen across a flit car that takes them someplace else. I had a flit car take them out to Lake Mitch-Gloom, Lake Michigan one time, and then the car just kind of died. I killed 2 or 3 player characters for that. Now, to be fair, I was just being a crummy DM. I had warned them that they would be running a risk if they got inside the flit car, but they thought they saw a prize and they ignored me and they went in. So anyway, that's it for Gamma World. This the last of the editions that I own. It was bothering me that I missed these 2 when I made my first Gamma World video. If you want to see my first Gamma World video, I'm going to try to put a link to that in the description below. And also want to point out that Gamma World's 2nd and 4th edition, in fact, pretty much every edition of Gamma World, is available on DriveThruRPG. I looked up the 2nd and 4th editions before I made this video, and both are available for $9.99, which is actually less than I paid for both. Granted, it's just a PDF, but these are very worthy additions to Gamma World if you are running the Gamma World game. Even if you're not running this combat system, I recommend these highly. There's some great flavor to these additions. In future Gamma World videos, I'm going to go and show some of the old modules that came with these and what we did and didn't like about those. So that's it for today for page 121. I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I'll see you next time. Well, that closes the book on another episode of page 121. Please leave your comments below, and if you enjoyed what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.